Hi, I'm Matt Emmons, and today I'm going to show you some of the service items on the CZ600 Plus. So the first thing we'll cover is how to change the barrel, which comes with a lifetime warranty. I'll also demonstrate how to change the bolt head to change caliber classes. And the last thing that I'll demonstrate is how to set the trigger for different weights. So let's get into it. Here I have a CZ600 Plus Alpha with the mini action, that's the shortest action. And I'm gonna take the 223 semi-heavy barrel and change that to a lighter profile 7.62 by 39. So the first thing we need to do is remove the magazine. So I'll take the magazine out, I'll put it up here. The next thing is to remove the bolt. But when we do this, we also need to make sure that the safety is in the safe position. This is very important when we remove the action from the stock. When it's not in the safe position, you can damage the safety. So make sure that it's in the safe position, then you'll be fine. So in order to remove the bolt, I simply push down the bolt release button and then remove the bolt to the rear. And I can put that over here. And as we continue, we need some different tools. So the first thing is I have a different magazine, an extra magazine. I'll get to that momentarily why. We have a 1.5 millimeter Allen wrench. This is for setting the trigger, which I'll also demonstrate later. A bolt tool, a Torx 25 wrench, a torque wrench set to 5 Newton meters with a Torx 25 bit, and also an extra bolt head, and obviously my extra barrel over here. So in order to remove the action, I simply take my Torx 25 wrench and then remove the bedding screws. So I'll take the forward bedding screw out with the magazine catch. Then I'll remove the rear bedding screw, and what I like to do is just to simply hold the action with the stock together so it doesn't fall out. And then once that screw is loose, then I can just pull the action down and the stock up, put that to the side. And then the next step is to remove the barrel. So here we have 2 screws that hold the barrel into the barrel lock. I take my Torx 25 wrench, so then I need to remove these screws. So I'll take the first one out, and I need to remove it completely. Put that here on my bench. Remove the other screw. Put that also here. And then here we have the barrel lock. Now I need to take this, the easiest way to do this is to just simply rotate the action on the side so that barrel lock falls down, and then all I do is just simply pull the barrel out of the action. Now, important to note, on these barrels there's a slot. What corresponds to the mini action is a single slot. And just for demonstration purposes, I also have here a 308 barrel that comes from the medium action. The medium and the long actions have 2 slots, just so you know the difference. Obviously, these are not interchangeable, but just so you see where the slots are and what's important. Then the next step is to take the barrel that I want to put on the action, and here I have my 7.62 by 39 light barrel. I slide the barrel into the action, and I have to make sure that the barrel lock is to the side all the way, and also the slot corresponds with the bottom of the action, and I simply push them together until it clicks, and it just clicked. Then I can slide the barrel lock back in place. If the barrel's not in place, this will not happen. Then I can take my screws and put them back into the barrel lock. Take my wrench and just gently snug them up. Now, important to note here is the order in which you need to tighten them. So here on the side of the action, there's a single dot and then another screw with 2 dots. This is the order that we need to tighten them. So now I'll take my torque wrench, set to 5 Newton meters, and I'll tighten the rear screw with the single dot first. Perfect. And then the forward screw, which has 2 dots, which means second. And that's how easy it is to change the barrel. So the next step is to put the rifle back together. So then I simply Slide the action into the stock, make sure that yes, it's even. I take my bedding screws and put them back in and just start the screw into the action. Put the magazine catch back in and then snug up the forward bedding screw and then snug up the rear bedding screw. Then I take my torque wrench and just like the barrels, I tighten this to 5 Newton meters. Perfect. So now the rifle's back in the stock, and now we can progress to the bolt. So to go from different calibers, here we went from .223 and now we're going to 7.62 by 39, and that requires a different bolt head. I need to take my bolt tool, and there's a slot on the bolt tool that corresponds with the firing pin. I simply slide it on, and you'll see on this bolt tool, to rotate it away from me, that's the unlock position, and to me is the lock position. I want to unlock it, so I simply slide it forward until it clicks, and then just pull the firing pin out. The next step is to remove the bolt head itself. Now here there's a pin in the slot. I push this pin forward, and then just simply slide the bolt head up and out. On the back of these bolt heads, there's a number which corresponds to the caliber class that it belongs to. You can look on the table, see which bolt head corresponds to the caliber you want to use, and make sure that you use that bolt head. To put the bolt head back in, I just simply align it with the slot, slide it down, push the pin forward until it pops into place. Then I take the firing pin, put it back into the bolt. And important to note here, when you start, the firing pin needs to line up with this dot that's on the bolt housing. Then I take my bolt tool, slide it back in place, and I need to push together and then slide toward me slowly until it clicks into place. And you're in the right place when the firing pin lines up with the slot. Now sometimes it happens that you're a little too strong and you go too far to the locked position. No worries, you just simply rotate it back into place. It's very easy. The next step is to then reinsert the bolt, so I have to take my bolt release button here, and then just simply slide the bolt into place, and we're good. Now another thing to note on this particular setup, while this is the mini action and the magazines look the same, they're not. 223 requires a little bit of a different magazine setup than 7.62 by 39, and it's marked on the side which caliber it corresponds to. So this is my 223 magazine, this is my 7.62 by 39, this is the one that corresponds here, and then simply put it back in place. Now the last thing to talk about is the setup of the trigger. So adjusting the weight on the trigger is done by this small screw that's right in front of the trigger blade. And for this, I need my 1.5 millimeter Allen key. Normally the triggers come set at the second setting, and you'll see with this screw, there are 4 different settings. There's a single dot that corresponds to 650 grams, a second spot that corresponds to 900 grams, a third spot with 3 dots that corresponds to 1,150 grams, and then the final spot with 4 dots, that's 1.4 kilos. In order to adjust it, I simply take my Allen key and put it into the screw, and then just rotate the screw until it clicks into place to the next setting. So I just went from the second setting to the third setting to make the trigger heavier. So those are the different service items that I can show you on the new CZ600 Plus. Thank you.